subtract. So we're making some awesome headway in our project here. So I'm really glad that we're making such awesome progress. Everything seems to be working good so far. So we've got add and subtract already working out for us. So let's switch things up a little bit. So we've got this if statement here. And you know what? That all works. It works okay. But what if we had hundreds and hundreds of options? This is not the best situation for us. So we're going to use something different, and it's called a switch statement. Just like that, switch. And then inside of these parentheses goes the condition. Now, like we said here in this if, choice equals 1 is our condition, but in the switch statement it's a little bit different. The condition is a variable that we're testing. So let's copy this and we'll say choice. Okay, and it goes there just like that. And then we've got open parenthesis, close parenthesis. Now inside the switch we've got what are called cases, and it goes just like that, case. And we're going to say case, which is basically saying if choice equals 1. Colon, be careful, I know it's kind of hard to see, we can zoom in here. Colon, it's not a semicolon, it is a colon here. Then all of this stuff needs to happen. But one thing that you should know that's different about the switch is that these cases are not different blocks of code. They're all in the same parenthesis. So what we have to do is initialize any variables that we want to use outside of the switch statement, or before, outside of the switch statement. So we'll go ahead and initialize these variables, declare them. We'll declare or define these variables here outside, and then we need to get rid of the int here so that we can use this. Otherwise we'll have collisions when we try to reinitialize in case 2. Now the interesting thing here, if you look at this, we've got case 1, and the difference between this and an if statement is that it doesn't end at the end here. So we need to include what's called a break statement, like this, break, semicolon, and that means after you're done with everything here, stop and get out of the switch statement. Otherwise, if we have the second case here without a break, so we have case 2, colon, and we want to do everything right here. We want to do everything right here, but again, we don't need these ints. We don't want those ints. So we'll get rid of those, tab everything over. If we didn't have the break here, what would happen is the number 1 got chosen, and it would fall through here, and it would do all of these things, and then it would fall through the next case because we didn't have a break. We didn't tell it to exit the switch statement. So we want to make sure in this case to include the break statement. Now there are cases where you don't want break. There are cases where if it is 1 or if it is 2, you want it to do both things for 2, right? But in this case we don't want that. So we're going to break here. Then we're going to add another case. Case 3 is going to be multiply. And we will do the same thing as here, except for we are not going to subtract, we are going to do M-U-L-T, multiply. And we will output this, but we need to change this to a multiply symbol. And then we will have a fourth case here, and this fourth case is case 4, colon, and we'll do the same thing, except for we are not going to subtract. This time we are going to divide. Now I did find that there is a divide, not divide, divide function, a div function, so we need to add the rest of this so that it doesn't clash. So call this function divide, not div. And break, and then we want to change this to a divide symbol. Okay, now we can get rid of all of this other code, except for, what about if the user entered a number that's not valid? Well, the switch statement takes care of that for us also with a default section. And in this default, if it's not any of these cases, it falls to the bottom and it will do this. And again, we'll finish with our break statement to kick us out of the loop, or to kick us out of the switch statement. We'll break out, and that's the end of our switch statement. And we can go ahead and get rid of all of this code there. Now you can see that this looks more neat. This looks cleaner than if else, if else, if else, or if else if else if else if. This looks cleaner. This looks more neat. And that's essentially what it's designed to do. It's to make the code more readable, more clean. Now we want to make sure that we're commenting here. So we'll comment this is add. We'll comment this as subtract. We'll comment this third part as multiply. And we will comment this fourth part as divide. And we're ready to go. Now what we do need to change is we need to add into here the rest of the options for the menu. So we need to do, pardon me here, so we'll copy this part here. And we will add that to before there and include an end line there. Space it out. Here, it's important to make your code look neat, like I said before. So for multiply, enter 3, and for subtract, or for divide, enter 4. To exit, enter -1. We'll save this. Now what we need to do, the final thing that we need to do, is we need to create both the multiply and the divide functions. So now we've copied the sub because they do have the same modularity going on here. So we have mult and we have divide. And let's make sure that we named it correctly here. Divide, yep. And okay. And then we will copy. This all looks good. Let's change our comment. This function subtracts. This function multiplies. The first number 2. The second, and returns their combined value. This function divides the first parameter from the second and returns their combined values. So it's not quite correct in the mathematical term of speaking, but it shows that what we did there is what we did. So we'll come down here and we will copy this twice again, and we will rename this to MULT, and we will change this symbol to a multiply, and we will rename this DIVIDE, divide, and we will put this symbol. Now remember, we talked about this is not going to be a full division. This is going to be an integer division, which means that it will return an integer, so you're not going to have a remainder. And we can work on that later. We can make it so that we can get a remainder for a full double divide, which does matter. And then let's go ahead and pull up our handy dandy terminal. Pull over to the side, CD, what is it? Desktop dash part 7 ls g++ part 7 .cpp. Alrighty, so we have an issue here, and we can see now that we have turned on these lines, oh, we have forgotten our semicolons. So let's try it again. We can see that we have the line numbers here. They're very helpful because these errors are going to respond to a line number, and that is really helpful. Okay. Oh, you know what? We didn't save it. And there we go. It compiled now, so something very simple there. Now, we will do again sudo /a.out. Enter our password. Alrighty, so let's try one of the ones that we just put in there. Now, I know that our spelling is not correct here. We can go back in and fix that. But for the time being, let's try divide. We'll do 10 and 10. Make the math really easy on us. 10 divided by 10 is 1. Now that's correct. And it seems that we have forgot to move the whole menu down here to this part. And in all reality, we probably could have a display menu function up there that would work to allow us to display the menu in multiple parts of the program. And that would be good. But it still works. Let's try to divide again. So we're going to enter 25 and 4. Now you'll notice that we get 6 because this is integer division. It does round. This number is not going to be quite right. It does round. So yeah, that there's our division. Let's try our multiply that now. 3, 10, 10, 100. Awesome. So our program is working. In the next section, we're going to really change the way, we're going to really change the core functionality of how this program works. But what's nice is because we've already developed these awesome functions, we can reuse those functions and we don't need to adjust all of the functions when we change the core functionality of the program. And that's really helpful. So please join us next time where we'll totally revamp this program, and that'll be part 8.